Welcome, help me reach 4,000 subscribers. Your support keeps me creating the intense, emotional, and suspense-packed stories you love on Breakup Cheater. Like the video, drop a comment, subscribe for more jaw-dropping betrayal stories. Every click truly means the world. Thank you for being part of this growing family. The first thing I saw was the flashing blue and red lights reflecting off my driveway. My heart skipped a beat. I thought immediately, who's hurt? Who's in trouble? But as I stepped closer, the sound of my own name being called over a police radio made my stomach drop. "Sir, please put your hands behind your back." Froze. My hands shot to my sides instinctively. What are you? Hands behind your back now. Before I could react, I felt cold steel around my wrists. I looked down. Handcuffs. On my own lawn. My own driveway. And then I saw her. Sarah, my wife of 7 years, leaning against the porch railing, a smirk tugging at her lips. Her hair glinted in the flashing lights. Her laughter, light and cruel, cut through the night like a knife. "Gotcha," she said almost cheerfully, as if this was some game. "You're not going to believe how easy that was." I stared at her, my mind struggling to process. "This isn't funny, Sarah." My voice shook, both from shock and anger. "I was at work. I'm just getting home." "You are funny," she replied, still grinning. "You should have seen your face." The officers, polite but firm, guided me toward the squad car. I kept looking at her, searching for, I don't know what. Remorse. Concern. Anything resembling the woman I thought I knew. But there was nothing. Only amusement. "Ma'am, can you confirm the details of the call?" one of the officers asked. "Oh yes," she said, trying to stifle another laugh. "There was a man on our property. Suspicious. He might have been trying to break in." I opened my mouth, but no words came. My chest felt heavy. My throat felt raw. The idea that she had called the police on me, her husband, over a prank was incomprehensible. Later at the station, after hours of interrogation and insistence that I had done nothing wrong, I was finally released. No charges, thankfully, but the humiliation, the sense of betrayal, clung to me like a shadow. I drove home silently, the lights of the neighborhood blurring through my tears. The house was dark when I entered. Sarah was already asleep, or pretending to be. I stood in the hallway for a long time, listening to the quiet tick of the clock, the soft hum of the refrigerator. I wanted to scream, to shake her awake, to demand an explanation. But my voice had gone. The only sound in the house was the echo of her laughter from hours before. The next morning, I found her in the kitchen, sipping coffee as if nothing had happened. "Morning," she said, cheerful. "Sleep well." I didn't respond. I poured myself a cup of coffee, bitter and hot, trying to steady my hands. "We need to talk." "Oh, about last night?" she asked, feigning innocence. "I already told the officers it was just a prank. Don't take it so seriously." I set the mug down carefully, the clink of ceramics sounding loud in the tense silence. "A prank? You had me handcuffed, humiliated in front of the neighbors, terrified I'd be arrested, and you call that a prank?" Her eyes narrowed slightly. "You're being dramatic." I shook my head. "No, I'm being honest. This was cruel. And I need you to understand something." I reached into the drawer and pulled out an envelope. My hands didn't tremble, but my heart felt like it was trying to escape my chest. I slid it across the table. "These are divorce papers." Her fork paused midair. She looked at me, then at the envelope. You can't be serious." "I am," I said. "I pressed charges for filing a false police report. You humiliated me. And Sarah, I realized last night that I don't know you anymore. I don't recognize the woman I married." She laughed, a low, nervous chuckle. "So this is it? After 7 years?" "Yes," I said, my voice steady. "After 7 years. This isn't about one night. It's about trust. It's about the fact that you were willing to risk everything. Our marriage, my freedom, my reputation, just to get a laugh. And I can't stay in a marriage where I'm afraid of my own wife." Her lips pressed into a thin line. I saw the anger flash there, the frustration, maybe even regret, but it was fleeting. "You're overreacting. It was harmless. You're making a big deal out of nothing." I shook my head. "No, it was everything. And I've realized something else." My voice cracked despite my attempt at calm. "I've realized I've been blind. I thought we were partners, that we trusted each other. But last night I saw the truth. And I can't live in a house where truth is a joke." She didn't respond. She just stared, the faintest tremor of fear in her eyes, though it didn't last. She turned away, walking to the sink, and began washing dishes with exaggerated calm. I left the kitchen. I walked through the house slowly, touching the walls, the furniture, as if I could imprint one last memory before everything changed. I saw our wedding photos, smiling faces frozen in happier times. I saw the living room couch where we had spent countless evenings, laughing at movies, holding each other close. And I felt a pang, a sharp, bitter pain, because those memories felt like someone else's life. Someone I had shared everything with but now no longer belonged to. I thought about all the small signs I'd ignored over the years. The way she laughed a little too easily at other men's jokes, the text she left on her phone, the way she sometimes looked at me with a mix of boredom and amusement rather than warmth. I'd convinced myself I was imagining things. I wanted to believe in us. I wanted to believe in her. But last night had stripped away every illusion. A week later, the divorce papers were served, and the process began. We met once to discuss separation of assets and living arrangements. She still tried to make light of things, joking about custody arrangements as if our marriage were a game she was playing to win. I didn't laugh. I didn't argue. I just listened, noting every manipulation, every attempt to gaslight me, and I felt a sorrow so deep it made my chest ache. At night, I walked through our empty house alone, the echoes of laughter, hers once warm, now a weapon, haunting the hallways. I felt the weight of betrayal pressing down on me, but also a strange relief. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of clarity. I could finally see things as they were. I could finally let go of illusions. One evening, as I packed up boxes of her things that she had carelessly left behind, I found an old journal. Flipping through it, I saw entries that were affectionate, loving, and then, gradually, disconnected, sharp, almost mocking. It was like watching a timeline of the woman I thought I knew, slowly slipping into someone else entirely. I paused at one entry, dated just a month before. "The prank," it read. "I don't know why he's so predictable. He trusts too easily. Maybe I'll stir things up, see how he reacts. Could be fun." I slammed the journal shut. That's when it hit me fully. This wasn't about a moment of poor judgment. This wasn't even about the night of the prank. This was her. This was her pattern. And I had spent years thinking love could bridge that gap. Couldn't. Months passed. The divorce was finalized. Sarah moved out, taking with her pieces of my life that I had once thought inseparable from mine. And yet slowly I began to rebuild. I replaced her photos with paintings I loved. I filled the house with the warmth of my own choices rather than someone else's whims. I discovered the joy of silence again, the peace of a home where my footsteps weren't followed by the echo of mockery. And I realized something else. Betrayal doesn't just hurt, it teaches. It forces you to confront yourself, to question the world you thought you knew, to strip away pretense and see clearly. Pain is sharp, brutal, and unrelenting, but it's also transformative. I still remember the night she laughed while I was handcuffed on my lawn. I remember the cold metal biting into my skin, the flashing lights, the neighbors whispering behind curtains. I remember the weight of disbelief pressing down on my chest. But I also remember standing in that same driveway, months later, breathing in the night air alone, free. Free from fear, free from humiliation, free from a love that had never truly been love. I never saw Sarah again. I didn't want to. And for the first time in years, I slept without dread, I walked without hesitation, and I lived without the shadow of her cruelty. Life moves on. Love can be stolen, trust can be broken, and betrayal can cut deep. But the human heart is resilient. And sometimes the only way to reclaim yourself is to let go of what hurts, step into the light of your own truth, and start again. The driveway, once a stage for humiliation, became my sanctuary. The flashing lights are gone now. The laughter has faded. And I am left with something stronger than love or marriage. A life fully my own.